Dr. Zephyrian's 4 eyes gleamed with scientific curiosity as he adjusted the bioscanner's settings. The sleek metal device hummed quietly in the sterile research chamber aboard the Nexus station, casting pale blue light across the observation deck, where a dozen of the galaxy's most renowned xenobiologists had gathered. Fascinating specimens, these humans, Zephyrian muttered, his serpentine neck craning toward the reinforced viewing window. Their pain threshold appears remarkably primitive compared to civilized species. Below in the testing chamber, Sergeant Marcus Chen stood at attention, his muscular frame tense but composed. The human had volunteered for the Galactic Alliance's comparative physiology study, though none of the alien scientists expected anything particularly noteworthy from Earth's newest members. Dr. Kelthera, her crystalline exoskeleton refracting the chamber's lights into rainbow patterns, consulted her holographic notes. According to our preliminary scans, human pain receptors are incredibly dense, much more so than our species or the Vorthak, or even the notoriously sensitive Mindarians. Primitive nervous systems, agreed Dr. Zephyrian with a dismissive gesture of his 6-fingered hand. It's remarkable they achieved spaceflight at all with such a handicap. One would expect a species to evolve beyond such crude sensory overload. The other scientists murmured their agreement. The Zephyrians had long ago genetically modified their pain responses to mere informational signals. The Keltharians felt pain only as distant statistical data processed by their collective consciousness. Even the warrior caste Bruthan experienced pain as nothing more than tactical information. Shall we begin with standard stimulus levels? Dr. Kelthera's voice carried barely concealed amusement. I suspect we'll need to reduce the intensity significantly to avoid overwhelming the subject. Marcus remained motionless as the testing apparatus descended from the ceiling, a complex array of neural stimulators, pressure applicators, and thermal generators. His dark eyes met those of the scientists above, steady and unflinching. The first test involved controlled electrical pulses to his nervous system. The readouts immediately spiked as Marcus's body registered the stimulus, his jaw tightening almost imperceptibly. Look at those readings, Dr. Zephyrian exclaimed. The pain signals are incredibly intense. For comparison, this same stimulus would barely register on our species' sensors. Increase the level gradually, Dr. Kelthera instructed the technician. Let's map the human tolerance curve. As the intensity climbed, Marcus's breathing deepened, sweat beading on his forehead. The alien scientist watched with clinical fascination as his pain readings soared far beyond what any of their species could endure while remaining conscious. Remarkable that he's still standing, whispered Dr. Yinth, a gaseous being whose form shimmered in its containment field. Our warriors would have collapsed or entered protective stasis by now. Perhaps their primitive development has one advantage, Dr. Zephyrian mused. Ignorance of proper evolutionary pain management. The testing continued through various stimuli, extreme temperatures, pressure points, chemical irritants. Each time, Marcus endured levels that would have incapacitated any member of the advanced species present. His readings showed agony that should have triggered unconsciousness, yet he remained upright, focused, responsive. This is unprecedented, Dr. Kelthera murmured, her crystalline form flickering with confusion. He's experiencing pain levels that would kill most sentient beings through neural shock alone. Dr. Zephyrian leaned forward, suddenly very interested. Perhaps we should observe their response to actual injury. For science, of course. The chamber's training protocol activated, deploying holographic combat scenarios. Marcus moved through the simulations with fluid precision, even as the neural stimulators continued their assault on his nervous system. He ducked, rolled, and struck with mechanical efficiency despite the readings that showed his pain receptors screaming in protest. Then the accident happened. A malfunction in the holographic projector sent Marcus diving to avoid what his mind interpreted as incoming plasma fire. His shoulder struck the chamber's reinforced wall with a sickening crack that echoed through the observation deck. The sound made several alien scientists recoil in disgust. Marcus hit the floor hard, his right arm hanging at an unnatural angle. The bioscanners went wild, registering pain levels that should have triggered immediate cardiac arrest in any known species. Warning lights flashed as the computer system struggled to process readings beyond their programmed parameters. Fascinating, Dr. Zephyrian breathed. A complete humeral fracture with probable joint displacement. The pain readings are off our scales entirely. We should observe his decline into shock, but Marcus wasn't declining. The human rolled onto his back, breathing in sharp, controlled bursts. His left hand moved to probe the injury with careful precision, fingers mapping the damage with the expertise of a field medic. The alien scientists watched in stunned silence as Marcus felt along his dislocated shoulder, his face a mask of concentration rather than agony. "What is he doing?" Dr. Kelthera whispered. Marcus braced his feet against the wall, gripped his right wrist with his left hand, and without warning yanked hard while pushing his shoulder against the metal surface. The pop of his joint relocating was audible even through the chamber's soundproofing. Every alien scientist fell silent. The bioscanners registered a brief spike of absolutely incredible pain, levels that should have stopped a human heart, followed by blessed relief as the joint settled back into place. Marcus tested his shoulder's range of motion, wincing but functional. "Impossible," Dr. Zephyrian stammered. "The trauma readings, the neural stress. He should be dead." Marcus stood up, brushing dust off his uniform. He looked up at the observation deck and spoke his first word since the testing began. "Shall we continue, doctors?" Dr. Kelthera's crystalline form shimmered with something approaching awe. "The human just reset his own joint, while fully conscious, with no anesthesia or medical assistance. Our warriors, our evolved species, our advanced pain management." Dr. Yinth's gaseous form swirled with agitation. "None of us could survive what we just witnessed." Dr. Zephyrian stared down at Marcus, who had returned to attention position as if nothing had happened. The readings still showed elevated stress markers, indicating the human was indeed in considerable pain, yet he stood ready for whatever came next. "Perhaps," Dr. Zephyrian said slowly, his dismissive tone replaced by grudging respect, "we have been looking at this backwards. What we interpreted as primitive sensitivity. What if it's actually an adaptation?" "An adaptation?" Dr. Kelthera echoed. "Think about it. Pain is information, not just warning. Pain is a tool for precision medical intervention. Pain is motivation to continue despite injury." Dr. Zephyrian's eyes remained fixed on the human below. "We evolved past pain because we saw it as limiting. But what if experiencing it fully, processing it completely, actually makes a species stronger?" Marcus caught their stares and offered a slight nod of acknowledgement. In that gesture, the alien scientists saw something they had missed before. Not a primitive being limited by crude sensory overload, but a creature so evolutionarily confident that it chose to feel everything. The testing concluded early that day. In their reports, each scientist noted the same remarkable finding. Humanity's relationship with pain wasn't a weakness to be overcome, but a strength to be respected. After all, any species that could reset their own bones as a matter of routine wasn't just tough. They were terrifying in the most admirable way possible. Dr. Zephyrian's final note in the research log read simply, "Recommend immediate upgrading of human threat assessment. Also never mock their pain tolerance again."